So this is my review of the AC/DC album, The Razor's Edge. It was released in 1990 and produced by Bruce Fairbairn. So this is the first album where Angus and Malcolm write all the lyrics, and it's kind of like, I mean, none of the AC/DC albums have great lyrics, but I feel like Bon was kind of the best, and then Brian was kind of like just a little step down from Bon. And then Angus and Malcolm are kind of like a step down from Brian. And the lyrics on the last album, Blow Up Your Video, I kind of liked. I thought they were interesting for an AC/DC album, for the most part. Some of the ones on, I think, Nick of Time and stuff. But the lyrics on this album are kind of noticeably like a step down when listening to them back to back. This is also, I think, the first and only studio album that Chris Slade plays drums on. He played again with the band live during the Rock or Bust tour. But he's a good drummer. I think he fits kind of better with the band a little bit than Simon Wright did, who drummed on the last two albums. I mean, I did like Simon Wright's drumming on Blow Up Your Video, but I thought the drumming on Fly on the Wall sounds a little bit off, and I'm not sure if that's just the production or if it was his playing. But Chris Slade, I think, seems like technically the best drummer that they've had, maybe. I mean, I'm not a drummer, so I don't really know. But Phil's my favorite AC/DC drummer, just because I know his playing is more simplistic than Chris Slade's, definitely, but there's just a certain feel to his drumming that he brings to the band that just sounds right over everybody else. So this album wasn't one that I listened to a lot growing up. It was one that I had, but I would usually only listen to one or two songs on it and then switch it for something else. Not an album that I listened to in its entirety a lot. I know at the time it was kind of a big comeback for them. I think it sold pretty well. It's obviously got the big singles off it, Thunderstruck, Money Talks, and Are You Ready, which I've been hearing a lot on commercials. But I remember growing up, at least a lot of the people that I talked to thought that this album was kind of just those songs, and the rest of the songs on it weren't that good, and that was kind of my opinion of it. Kind of one of the albums that I wasn't as big of a fan of. And so kind of going into it today, when I was going to re-listen to it, it's been years since I've listened to the full album. I was kind of expecting to like it less than what I did. I was actually a little bit impressed with it. Definitely a better album than what I remembered. Still, I think not quite as good as some of the earlier albums that they did, but the production on this album I think is definitely better than Flick of the Switch and Fly on the Wall. I like the production on Blow Up Your Video, okay, but this is probably a little bit better than that too. Not quite as good as the production on Back in Black and Highway to Hell, but it's a pretty good produced album. So I can definitely see why it was a hit at the time, especially with the singles. The first song on the album, Thunderstruck, obviously, I think everybody